Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of talking about the lore of Star Wars, I'm going to talk about a rumour that's been circulating recently that I think the majority of my audience would be interested in learning about, as it pertains somewhat to the Old Republic era in general. Now, many of you guys know that I don't really like to comment on rumours or speculation or leaks or things like that, but I feel like I've become somewhat the Old Republic guy in the community, so I partly feel responsible for making sure that some of you guys know about this if you're interested. In case you're unaware, a couple of months ago, at least I think it was a couple of months ago anyway, time flies, there was a leak that showcased the logo of an unannounced Star Wars title called Tales of the Jedi. Lucasfilm didn't comment on this, there wasn't a response from them or any information about it, and it actually kind of flew under the radar. But over the past couple of days and weeks, there is more and more information cropping up about a Tales of the Jedi announcement on the Friday of Star Wars Celebration coming up. And in case you didn't know, Tales of the Jedi is the comic book series that essentially established the entirety of the Old Republic. It covered Exar Kun, Ulic Qel-Droma, Nomi Sunrider, the Exar Kun War, the Ancient Sith. It was essentially the foundation in which Knights of the Old Republic built itself upon, and it's one of the most popular and one of the most successful Star Wars comics. Now, we don't know what this project is, nobody does, we've only seen the logo. However, there is some indication going around that this is a pretty serious thing. It's not just a little side project that they're working on, which means it could be any number of things. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show. But one thing that people seem a little more sure on is that it will actually be an animated series, which I think is actually more befitting. Not only could it pay homage to the comics that it was inspired by, but it would literally breathe life into a comic book series in a way that we've never seen before, especially if it's done in a 2D format. I absolutely adored Star Wars Visions, I don't know about you guys, it's actually one of my favourite things that Disney have produced since they took over Star Wars, and I personally feel like Tales of the Jedi would be a great place to maybe build a brand new series in a more westernized 2D art style, and even if they did decide to go down the anime route, I would be 100% on board. One thing that I personally hope though is that it's not 3D, and that's not because I don't like 3D animation. I really enjoyed the Clone Wars and I respect certain parts of Rebels and even the Bad Batch, but I think adapting a comic book that is known for its visual splendor and exquisite art design is much more suited to an animation style that's actually in line with comic book artwork. Additionally, I don't care if it's Legends or Canon, if anything I'm getting tired of the labels, but if they do consider it Legends and they just make it for that audience, I think it would be a good thing. But if they decide to make it Canon, then I think they could do something like telling old fairy tales, and that way you could keep it as close to the source material as possible, and it could have that canon adage of that there's always a little bit of truth in Legends. And I do think that a TV animated show would be a great fit for Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi is an extremely expansive comic book series. It features everything you want from a story. It has tragedy, it has redemption, it has the Jedi, the Sith, it has intimate moments and grandiose moments, it has romance and war and action. And the good thing is that with an animated art style, you can do more with it for less of a budget, especially than say a TV show or a movie that's live action. But with that said, there's no guarantee that it is a 2D or 3D animation. Like I said before, there's nothing that we really know about it. It could be, for all we know, a live-action TV show, it could be a movie, or it could even be a trilogy. Now personally, I hope it's not a live-action TV show. I'm not overly convinced by the TV shows that Star Wars has been producing. Yes, I really enjoyed The Mandalorian Season 1, but I thought the second season lost its creative spark and relied way too much on fan service and nostalgia, and if you watched my reviews for the Book of Boba Fett at all, you'll know that I was not impressed. It was really hit or miss, it lacked any cohesive narrative, it was poorly put together, and it ended abruptly to the point that I thought that it was a massive letdown. The Book of Boba Fett let me down so much that I even have a bit of concern about Kenobi and maybe that show going down the same path, but I'll reserve any honest judgment until I've actually seen it. The problem for me with Star Wars TV and Disney TV in general is that they seem to favour these extremely small seasons with like 6 to 8 episodes, and each episode has really erratic run times. They can be anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. And I think something like Tales of the Jedi would need a Game of Thrones-like treatment. It would need to be vast. We'd need it to be all about character and delving into the intricacies of the universe, and I don't think Disney are capable of that. Because there is some absolutely fantastic characters in Tales of the Jedi. Exar Kun himself is one of the most important characters in Star Wars, especially Legends. His impact on the wider galaxy was felt for eons, and his influences on the Jedi and the Sith were massive. And if a TV show had time to maneuver through the story to really delve into his psyche, into the war itself, you could have one of the best TV shows ever. But I just don't think that Disney are willing to invest in those type of TV shows because there isn't enough reward compared to something that will get them $1.5 billion at the box office. And if they were considering adapting something like Tales of the Jedi into one of these 6-episode erratic runtime shows, I personally wouldn't want it. I would rather a movie or a movie trilogy. Make it grand in scale, make it epic and big budget, just go all out on making something awesome in Star Wars, and Tales of the Jedi is just that. We haven't had a Star Wars movie in like 3 years at this point, and given that Rogue Squadron is on ice, or supposedly on ice at the moment, it would make perfect sense for them to announce their next big movie project. We know that there's many Star Wars movies in development that are unannounced but have directors attached. Taika Waititi is a good example of a director that's supposedly making a movie that's set in the past. Then we have that director that was recently announced. I can't remember if he was doing a TV show or a movie. And then we've also got Kevin Feige working on a movie, and last but not least, Rian Johnson's trilogy. Now, I know a lot of you are probably quivering at the thought of Rian Johnson making more Star Wars movies, but I want to throw my 2 cents into the hat here. I don't think that Rian Johnson is that bad of a filmmaker. There, I said it. What I think is that he was caught in between a rock and a hard place when it came to The Last Jedi, as he was making a middle entry to a trilogy that had no narrative or no direction, so he just decided to make a Star Wars movie that he wanted to make. But personally, I think if you give Rian Johnson the creative license to just go all out and do something fresh, without it being connected or confined by the Skywalker saga, then I think he could probably make a good film. But that's just me, and I know a lot of you aren't going to like that opinion, but I will stand by it. There is also some speculation that it actually may be something to do with Fallen Order, but I personally don't buy into that at all. It would be an actual crime if they were to make a TV show or movie or anything that was named after something that was very pivotal and very much beloved in Star Wars Legends, and then have it completely disconnected from the original thing. But I don't think there's any validity to these rumours. The leaked logo was almost identical to the logo of the Tales of the Jedi comics. At the end of the day though, we do know very little about it, and there's no guarantee that this is true, so as always, take it with a grain of salt. But I'd love to know what you think. Do you think that they should adapt Tales of the Jedi into something animated or live action? Let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to read what you have to say. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button to tell YouTube that you had a fantabulous time, and if you haven't, perhaps consider subscribing to join the biggest growing Knights of the Old Republic community on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, may the Force be with you. Always.